Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's room of choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
Hey, it's 10 a.m. and this is Utah's best sports radio.
Say my name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb.
You're damn right.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, let's go, folks. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard, the coach, Tim LaComb. Let's get it.
Let's get this thing.
2.5 weeks, and they have not bounced us yet.
No,
I'm word yet.
I'm shocked I'm still here. I actually, had to show up and kind of look presentable for a meeting today.
Yeah.
That I couldn't log into, so the shirt was not needed. But great meeting today with one of our awesome sponsors, Bar W Beef.
Bar W Beef.
Down in Nephi. And if you're driving to St. George, this is what I recommend just to break yourself in. Try the grill.
Yes.
It's freaking great.
Yep. Grab a burger, grab yourself. They have a fried pickles, and I'm a big fan of deep fried pickles.
And then there's sauces, right?
The sauces
Everything
are great.
is so good.
Yep. And so, yeah, just stop in there. In fact, if you go to Bar W Beef, or excuse me, the Bar W Grill or the Bar W Steakhouse, and you're stopping in there, take a picture of your meal, you in front of the building, or a picture of your meal, and send it to either Tim or I on social media at Scotty G Zone, at T LaComb, or at Lloyd Cole Zone. And, we'll put you in the running for something. We'll see if we can get you taken care of in some way, shape, or form. I guess I got to be careful how I say that.
Calzone?
I said Lloyd Cole Zone.
Oh.
He's Lloyd Calzone.
Hey, maybe you ought to register that one just in case.
Chef's kiss, baby.
Yes. Are you a calzone guy, Lloyd?
Yeah. There is one that's actually in Tim's neck of the
woods.
woods.
Part of it's called a pizza bender.
It is. It's a pizza bender, but it is a calzone.
We got to go there together.
It
Lloyd.
didn't take long for you to figure that thing out, huh?
No. We ordered out one of the first nights. We had the whole crew over, and man, it was something.
The pizza bender.
That was an old high school thing because I was in the old stomping ground. So yes, it's a good old pizza bender.
I'm adjusting my mic again. It must be a habit.
When Lloyd had to soak up that stuff after a
nope, not in high school. Straight as an arrow.
Yeah, maybe junior high, but
I don't know, guys. You guys go do that. I'm just gonna go get a pizza bender.
Yeah.
By myself.
Hey guys, I don't think that's appropriate.
You go on that bender, and I'll go on a pizza bender.
There you go.
I'm high on life, guys. All right, we got a busy show, a lot to break down, NBA playoffs, and Bill Armstrong will join us coming up a little bit later on. So the finishing touches of the NHL season with the Utah Mammoth, and Bill Armstrong, who had a great media availability yesterday. He and Chris Armstrong and Andre Tierney addressing the media. You heard it right here on the Zone, and then we'll have a chance to go one-on-one with the general manager of the Utah Mammoth coming up later today. What, 1:30, Lloyd? Is that it? Yep, 1:30. We will chat with the general manager. And fortunately, no need to worry about lottery balls this year.
Yeah, that was great. But how about the team that is in the most controversy wins the NHL lottery last night in Toronto after the press conference from hell?
Yeah, if I'm that GM, like, look what I've already brought for you. Why are you people so ungrateful? Look what I did.
I walked in here.
Yep.
My name's Bobby Calzone. And I've taken you to the number 1 pick in 2 days.
And I saw somebody in Toronto, one of the media guys, like, well, he's screwed up number 1 picks before. He'll do it again. It's like, wow.
I mean, you know what? I hope for this guy. He may have done some horrible things, but it sounds like to me the stuff he's done, it reminded me of a story I heard. Ray Giacoletti was recruiting Todd McCullough. Remember that name?
McCullough.
Played at University of Washington.
That's right.
He was big, like Big Country Reeves.
Yeah.
Okay. 7-footer from Canada. And was he from Canada? No, he might have been from Washington, actually. Anyhow, Todd McCullough, and it came down to University of Utah and Washington were recruiting the kid. And so there was a dead period. And Ray Giacoletti, a dead period means you can't see them in person. Okay?
Yes.
But you can still chat on the phone. And so Ray's on the phone, literally on the phone one morning with Todd's mother. And she said, hold on a second, there's someone at the door. And so he's waiting as she walks to the door, opens the door, and she's like, oh, hi, Coach Majerus, come on in. So during a dead period, Majerus goes to their house. And to me, it kind of sounds like what this guy was doing. He was cutting things a little tight on. But I don't think he was, holding anybody hostage or anything.
No, but apparently enough to get. And, and I'm curious to know about how much of this team that currently resides here in Utah was constructed by him. I don't think a lot, maybe a player or two, but, I mean, he has his fingerprints a little bit. And I do like how he was asked at a press conference about, his time in Arizona. He's like, well, during our time there, we were able to keep the team in Arizona. That's something I'm proud of. Meaning, as soon as I left, then the team left. But I kept him there in Arizona.
I did the deal with that roller rink that we were playing in. They were able to cut out Tuesdays and Thursday night skates.
We had to be out every Saturday at noon for the 12-year-old birthday party.
Yes,
rotation.
We could not interfere with that, but otherwise the ice was below the surface and we were ready to play because that's what it looked like they were playing on.
Todd McCullough had a little run in the NBA too.
He did.
And then apparently foot injuries ended his career.
Oh, the big guys and their feet.
Yep.
But he was a baller. He was definitely highly sought after, and enough so he was from Winnipeg. He was from Canada. I had that right. So Majerus, maybe he thought the NCAA rules only applied in the United States.
Perhaps,
but I'm seriously, that's how some guys get to a workaround. But there's Rick at the house, Ray on the phone. Those are the two that are there that he's down to.
Oh, that's funny.
And Ray had some ammunition if it didn't go his way.
Yeah. All right, let's get it, folks. Time for your starting lineup. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to kick off the show with the biggest headlines of the day. This is your starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
.97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, last night in the NBA, nothing that was too overly surprising. Kind of went the way we thought. The Pistons knock off the Cavaliers 111-101, and the Thunder just dump truck the Lakers 108-90 in a game that, frankly, wasn't really even that close. But I want to go to the Detroit-Cleveland game because, first off, I set the over-under on the fine for Jalen at $50,000. Bam, right on the dot, $50,000.
Are you in cahoots with Adam Silver?
We pushed. Who knew?
You and Adam talking behind the scenes.
Adam, what are you going to do? $50,000. All right, I'm going to go run with that. Thanks for the heads up. So he gets fined $50,000, and then the former Jazz man, Donovan Mitchell, after the Pistons get the 111-101 victory, comes up to the podium, and let's just say he's not pleased with the officiating.
The free throw disparity is not why we lost tonight. I want to make sure I say that, but I don't know. I'm trying to get downhill, and a friend of mine got fined for talking about flop, so I'm not going to try to double down, but I mean, I feel like that's what I got to do at this point. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get downhill, trying to get to the bucket, and sometimes people are in my way, and I'm trying to fight through contact, and I'm not getting these calls. You said I had, 13 in the last series, 16? I mean, I'm just not getting the calls. I don't know why. I don't flop. Maybe that's why. And this isn't just a tonight thing. This has been the entire series, and it's frustrating a little bit, but because I'm such a dynamic driver. But I can't control that. So if I'm not going to call for me, I got to find a way to finish through that. But you know me, I'm never one to sit here and complain, and that's not why we lost the game tonight or whatever. But at some point in time, I feel like me getting to the basket's got to relate to something. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
I don't complain, but I'm going to complain a little bit. I do like referring to yourself as a dynamic driver, though.
That's almost going third person.
Yeah. It's like, well, hey, this dynamic driver needs to get to the rim. And if he doesn't finish, this guy right here, I am a dynamic driver. That's what I tell my wife when we're going somewhere. I'm like, hey, hop in the car with this dynamic driver, and I'll get you there.
Watch me work.
Yeah. Traffic, who cares? So he's saying, hey, look, Jaylen Brown got fined $50,000 for not getting calls. I'm not getting calls. So he's trying to piggyback a little bit off Jaylen Brown, saying that there's a conspiracy going on against him. And a lot of times when guys are upset with officiating, it's when they get called for something. But now it's kind of flipped the script a little bit. Now the guys are complaining because they're not drawing the calls. And you see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, somebody breathes on him wrong, and there's a whistle. And I think it's all kind of related because these guys see what's going on around them, and they're like, hey, that guy's not any better than I am, but why is he getting a call? He plays in Oklahoma City. I play here in Cleveland. Or, I play, where in Boston. Why is the guy from OKC getting the calls and I'm not getting the call? We both attack the rim. We all try to get to the rim and finish at the rim. He's getting to the free throw line. I'm not. Do I need to start flopping? Do I need to make a big, theatrical dive after I draw some contact? And I think that now you're seeing some of the stars, Jaylen Brown and Donovan Mitchell, say what you want about either one, but they are NBA stars. When they start chirping about this, I'm curious to know if it'll have some effect on some officiating later in the series.
It could. And I think that Donovan, Donovan he grew up in an era and played 2K.
Yes.
And, it's hard for Donovan to make this game about anything other than himself. It really is. I mean, he says all the right things, but if you watch him in his body language, I actually broke the tape down last night and watched it because I heard his comments. And I think it's more of, Donovan was 9 for 19. He took 7-8 shots inside the paint all night long. Most of his shots were not just threes, but 2 feet behind the 3-point line. And so to me, it's like, is he just saying that because that's what a star's supposed to say after you lose a playoff game? Because I watched the tape. I didn't see a lot of instances where it was called any different. And I do think that in the playoffs, the podium a lot is used to try to put a message across to the officials, whether it was actually real or not. I think that's just another one of the little gamesmanship things that you do. In Donovan's case, I think he needs to get downhill harder. He needs to get downhill harder. He needs to force contact because in the playoffs, you've seen it. It doesn't matter if it's the NCAA tournament. You see a distinct difference from regular season end to, in your case, Mountain West Conference tournament.
Oh, yeah.
The refs are letting more go there.
Yep.
And then at the NCAA tournament, it even kicks up a notch. And so these guys are used to playing in the regular season for 82 games where in most nights they can kind of do what they want. I mean, guys are going to try to stop them at the end of games, but the defense is not existent. And so I do believe that part of this is just Donovan politicking.
Yeah.
Off the back of what Jaylen said and is like, hey, it's a good time to say it. But I see Donovan more as a guy who's willing to step back and shoot threes as opposed to force contact. And I think that's where he needs to actually get into it more and force contact.
Because if I'm coaching Donovan Mitchell or I'm coaching Jaylen Brown, I'm telling them, hey, look, if you don't feel like you're getting calls, keep going to the rim. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't react to that by backing up and taking fall-away threes. You need to force the issue because if we have the film to back it up, then it's going to get out there and it's going to work in your favor. But if you react to, I didn't get a call on that drive, so I'm going to sit back and take long contested twos or long step-back threes or bad shots, then the tape's going to work against me, like you mentioned. Because everybody's going to look at all right, tell me where the foul is. Because it feels like you gave up on the contact. You gave up early and took shots that you shouldn't, that you're definitely not getting fouled on. They'll let you take those all day.
And Donovan, to me, when he drives the ball,
he is a dynamic driver.
He is, but it's usually to a floater.
Yeah.
It's usually to that little, how he likes to make the big wraparound and float it up. And so, yeah, I think in the playoffs, it's like when we used to play St. Mary's. St. Mary's might have been the most physical team we played all year long. And the crazy thing is they were within the rules. They did it with verticality. So arms were always up, but it was the mass of their body that you were constantly working against because that is what the officials kind of let go.
Yeah, another 6'11", 260-pound dude from Australia.
Right,
Yeah.
and you can smell their breath because they're on you that much. It doesn't smell that good. When you're shooting, you go up to shoot, and again, verticality with a little bit of a bump and a lean. And so what we used to tell our guys is you're not getting calls. You're not going to get calls tonight because the officials are going to call if they swat and make it, but their hands are Randy does an incredible job of teaching defense. And so one of our scouting report pieces was, score through contact. Not just get shots, but score through contact. And then don't turn around and look at the official if you don't get it, because you're not. Run back the other way. So, yeah, to me, this is a combination of a little bit of what Donovan's seen in the playoffs, but his firsthand, like last night, and he talks about this is the first game of the series. He was talking about all series.
All series, yeah.
So, again.
It's frustrating a little bit, but because I'm such a dynamic driver.
And I want to make sure everybody understands. I think he's a very talented dude.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I seriously don't know, defensively what planet he's on most of the time. Sam Merrill didn't hardly play last night. They just probably not. They're probably getting bigger guys. Strus played a lot of minutes. But I talked about how Detroit's going to physically try to impose. And as that game got tight last night, it's exactly what they did. 3-4 shots, dunks right at the rim.
This is, we talk about the resurgence of the Knicks. The resurgence of the Pistons has been fantastic. And by the way, how did they build that team? Oh, yeah, they scuttled it and built it through the draft. Yep.
Yeah, and honestly, those teams would come through, and I'd feel Oklahoma City and Detroit would come through, and I'd feel bad for their guys. That's how bad they were. And, yeah, but again, it's hard, and now we're on the other side of it. Going through it's no fun.
Yeah.
But, man, you can see, guys that are making huge impacts for Detroit, and, they're getting their first opportunity, and they're making it pay. If it were to be Detroit and New York, that would be pretty awesome.
Old school.
The old school, just kind of sinewy, gutty, gritty.
Play an 83-79 game.
Caden, Jalen Brunson. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Be very fun. So, Detroit will win that series. And again, the key to that, it goes in line with Donovan's comment. I think they're the team that's willing to lower the shoulder a little bit more, take the bump a little harder, and still finish the play.
It's just, and telling your guys to do that, but then, Jonathan Tavenari was on with us yesterday, one of my all-time favorite people. I love talking to JT because I like guys that are authentic, that will just tell you what's on their mind. Like, he says a lot of stuff on Twitter. I'm like, JT, we sure about this? But you know what? I love it because that's just who he is. He's not gonna kowtow to anybody. So when you say, hey, play through the contact, finish at the rim, and if you feel like you got fouled, keep your mouth shut. We'll talk to the officials. But telling him to do that and him actually doing that is probably two very different things. And you can in your mind say, okay, I'm going to focus on the game. I'm not going to get upset at the officials. But when you get hit and it keeps you from finishing at the rim and all of a sudden you're running back on defense, it's second nature to turn around and see hey, man, what's going on? And I think Detroit and even New York to a certain extent know that when Donovan Mitchell talks like that, you're under his skin.
You are under his
Mission accomplished. The whole rent-free thing, it's right there.
Paying no rent.
Yep.
They're right there in your head. And, this is, Donovan, again, I think great players can get teams to a certain place, but it takes extraordinary people and competitors to really get over the hump. And, I think that's the piece that he's got to work on. This game is more than all the press that comes with it and everything else. And I think that the Cavs are just not built to beat Detroit. They're just not. It's a mismatch in terms of toughness. And Detroit's just a tougher team.
Yeah. So, in relation to the Utah Jazz, when the Jazz get this thing cooking next year, and look, if they're healthy, we saw glimpses of what this team can do when they're relatively healthy last year. if they're healthy for a good chunk of the season, and you got Triple J and you've got Laurie and you've got they bring Kessler back, and like if you've got that core group, are they tough enough, or is that still yet to be determined on these guys?
No, I think that's something you have to go earn.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that, I like all the things I heard after the season. It's been hard to get a real grasp defensively with this group because, last year I think they were bad defensively because they had good rim protection, but they really struggled keeping guys out of the middle and perimeter. And guards just really had their way at getting where they wanted to. And then you're constantly in rotation, right?
Yeah.
And rotation is a whole nother thing for new guys because rotation is a learned thing. When the ball goes there, he closes there, I've got to run to this spot. And so there's some of that stuff, too, that you're learning on the fly. So defense, for all those reasons, has been hard for the Jazz to take hold of and really own going into next season by virtue of their positional size. You talk about Kessler. You talk about Jaren Jackson Jr., who's won Defensive Player of the Year in this league. You talk about the size, and I have to shout out Lauri Markkanen, and I thought he took a step on the defensive end this year. I saw it. So you add him with a, definitely a know-how and a length. Ace Bailey, you put him out there at the 2, and you get Keontae George, who, again, Keontae's another guy last year I wondered if he could ever guard. But whatever flipped a switch, part of that switch, he's not going to be the perfect defender, but he's engaged and he keeps the ball where it needs to go. And with all that size and people in the gap, it's going to help.
Yeah.
So defensively, they can take a step forward. And as they take a step forward defensively and start getting stops and stringing stops together and knowing what that takes as a team to do, that's where toughness comes in. And then toughness tested all season, and then toughness is put on display in the playoffs.
I just I like it that we're seeing and look, sports and will go in waves, and I love the wave we're going towards now favoring the old tough SOB teams. It brings me back to my youth. You as well. This is the NBA we loved watching, where guys are just the officials for the most part are swallowing their whistle. Guys are getting upset. There's a lot of physicality up there, and they're letting a lot of it go. And I think that's the way it should be, especially in the playoffs.
That's the playoffs. Yeah. And so you have to adjust as a player. And the old days of, man, I'm not getting calls. We'll see if the officials react.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I think it points out what you said more. It's Detroit's – they won the battle in Game 1.
Yeah. Phil Jackson was the king of the preemptive shot at officials. Like, well, if they let them get away with that, we don't have any chance in this series. And shockingly, they would get those calls in the next game. But Phil was pretty smart on how he did that. This sounded a little bit more whiny than what Phil would do.
Yeah, and for me, honestly, it's not new to the NBA.
No.
I mean, you can go back generations, and, there's all sorts of these ploys. So, yeah, the bottom line is the tougher team will win the series. And right now, Detroit in Game 1 was the tougher team. What's exciting, Scotty, about next year to me with the Jazz is I think the fact that everybody's going to be on the same page. And when I say everybody, like players, coach, front office, organization is all moving forward. There's not going to be wait, we got this or that. This thing's going. We're moving forward. And as we do that, I watched OKC last night and their ability to match personnel, to put Caruso in there, to put Dort in there. Shea's obviously holding the banner, but the other thing the NBA is about right now, it's about really well-constructed rosters. And what's exciting to me is I feel like the Jazz have definitely taken a note out of that. And if you look at their roster and what these guys did this year, the development to get to next year, it's exciting. The pieces that the Jazz can roll out there, if they need to score, they got lineups they can do that. If they need to really lock down, they've got lineups they can do that. They're going to give other teams more of an issue than other teams can give them because of their size.
All right, 10:30, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb. Hope you're all having a tremendous Wednesday. You'll hear from Bill Armstrong, general manager of the Utah Mammoth, at 1:30. So a couple hours from right now, you will hear from him right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
The Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside Tim LaComb, the coach. We do it every day from 10 to 2 right here on the Zone. I had a buddy of mine that said, hey, I was listening at 10 a.m. You were on the air. I'm like, yep, that's how it is.
That's the new deal.
And I'm like, thanks for listening consistently every day for the last few weeks. He's like, I catch it when I can. I'm like, it's cool. But yeah, every day, 10 to 2. We start a little earlier, yes, but we give you 4 hours of great radio, not just 3 now. So you get more of us.
Yes, more of Scotty, and that is good. Scotty's good.
All right. Well, it was interesting. You know, I've had a lot of people on Twitter and friends and some other people that are tied with the with Utah State, you know, because of my play-by-play affiliation with that program. And a lot of people have reached out about why is BYU not coming to Logan? It's great that they're playing BYU in Provo, fine. In Delta Center, fine. But why is there no return trip to Logan? First off, I think getting this rivalry just on the books in some way, shape, or form is huge. All right? So just getting it back is really valuable for Utah State. And I'm just going to come at this from Utah State's perspective. BYU, obviously, I think it's a slam dunk for BYU because you don't have to go to Logan. You're going to have an opportunity to play in a really great environment in the Delta Center where it could be 50-50, and that'll be a fun atmosphere. And if you're BYU, you get a schedule who you anticipate will be a quad one game, back-to-back years, which we're all in an era where you're trying to build your resume. For Utah State, they need quad one games. I mean, they have to have them. And their conference, even though they'll play Gonzaga and San Diego State, and they're going to drop off teams like San Jose and Air Force that are just resume killers, even if you beat them by 40, they just hurt you. So their conference is going to be improved, but make no mistake, BYU is going to have access to a lot of quad one games. Utah State will not have access to a lot of quad one games. So do you have to sacrifice a little bit to get quad one games? Perhaps, because they're very limited. And in the landscape of college basketball, it would not surprise me one bit if Utah State called up Kentucky or called up Kansas or called up any of these high major teams and said, hey, you know what? We don't need a return visit. Just kick us a few bucks and we'll come to your place and play. We just want to build our resume. We want quad one games. And I wouldn't surprise me one bit if Kentucky's like, sure, hold please, click. Kansas, click, click, click. Because not only are they concerned about a potential loss to a really good team, but also more, I don't think these teams are interested in building other teams' resumes, especially G5 resumes. I think they're looking at like, okay, our conference, now look, Kentucky, Kansas, they're not necessarily worried about making the tournament. They'll be fine. But there's a lot of Power 5 teams out there that'll say, hey, our conference might be battling your conference for those last spots in the tournament, those last 4 in and avoiding the last 4 out. Why should we be building up your conference? Because Utah State could take that game against Kentucky and build their resume up. Even if they lose by 15 points, that's still a resume boost for Utah State. Then they take that to the Mountain West or the Pac-12 now, and everybody kind of plays off each other's resume, and it artificially boosts your conference standings, and that allows you to get more teams into the tournament. And believe it or not, I do think there is a certain element of Power 5 schools thinking to themselves, what can we do to earn more spots? Well, first off, schedule other Power 5 teams. Do not schedule really good group of 6 teams, because that's only going to boost their resume, and it may steal a spot from one of our conferences down the line. Makes total sense to me. And so for BYU to allow or for BYU to play this game, I think probably goes against what the Big 12 wants. I don't think the Big 12 overall is a fan of this game or a fan of this series. So BYU doing that, I think, is a good thing. I think it opens the door to a potential future visit to Logan. And I don't think we're talking about this game in Salt Lake City enough because it frankly wouldn't surprise me one bit if you look at the revenue opportunities. Now, remember, this isn't, and you dealt with this a lot in scheduling, there's no guy marketing this thing. This isn't an event that there's a third party that's stealing a bunch of the gate. This is Utah State and BYU going 50-50, and I'm sure our friends over at the Jazz that own the Delta Center gave them a killer deal on this thing. I don't think they're taking a lot off the top, so you don't have a marketing group that's going to take a big chunk of the gate. You have Utah State and BYU essentially splitting the revenue 50-50 in that game, and wouldn't surprise me one bit if Utah State makes a lot more money on that game than they would a home game. Now, again, you love home games. You hate giving them up. But from a revenue standpoint, from a resume standpoint, it's a home run. It makes too much sense.
The other thing I love about it is, when you get to the tournament, you play in arenas just like Delta Center, the big NBA type arenas. So it is actually a great opportunity to go do that for Utah State as well. I said it yesterday. I said it a little different, but the bottom line is the power schools have always and definitely currently hold the cards. I'm looking at Kentucky's schedule last year, just out of curiosity. And the one thing that it says to me is, yeah, they're going to play teams, no question. But when they don't play a Power 5 team, they're playing Nicholls State, Valparaiso, Eastern Illinois, Loyola, Maryland, Tennessee Tech.
Yeah.
Those are the games that they'll go out. If they're not going to play a Power 5, the one exception last year was it was actually an event. And you have those ability to play MTEs, which BYU does. I mean, BYU went and played Madison Square Garden. Right now BYU is a hot brand, and these tournaments seek them out. So, again, for BYU to work with Utah State and get 2 dates on the calendar in today's basketball world, I mean, it's definitely a win. It's a win for both. It's a win for the state. I wish last year they were on the schedule. I don't know how many times I watched them both played separately and thought, man, I'd love to watch these two teams because the styles were so different. And I had so much respect for both coaches and the way they do their stuff. It would have been interesting to see, So it will be awesome. And you just have to understand that the landscape's changed. I said it yesterday. We used to play Weber State home and home. Not home and home. Yeah, we had a series where we play them once at our place, once at their place, and once at Delta Center. That was the arrangement when I left. But we were still returning games to Weber at that point. I mean, that'll never happen again.
Yeah. And, I mean, I would look at Utah State, too. When I don't think Utah State's going to Ogden anytime soon.
No, they're going to big boy them.
Because they'll have a Big 12, or a Pac-12 referendum saying that does you nothing. It is so much about the numbers right now because every committee seems to be leaning more towards the Ken Palm numbers, the net numbers. And so you've got Cameron Walker, who I have a ton of respect for, has really mentioned this to me over and over. I'm sure Ben Jacobson, Jared Calhoun was huge into the numbers and sacrificed a bye week so he could play Memphis in the middle of February last year just for the sole purpose of building the resume. Now, Memphis ended up being a bad team, and it didn't really help Utah State that much. But the purpose of sacrificing a bye week in the middle of conference was to boost your resume.
100%. It was really bright, really smart.
And so if you're Utah State out there and you're a fan, and I heard this from a lot of people, and I get it, folks. I totally understand. And they're like, well, if BYU's not willing to do the home and home, then don't schedule them. Okay. Where are you going to get another quad one game? I mean, for next year.
Nobody's going to do it.
Where are you going to get another quad one? You're not going to get it. And it's about those numbers. This isn't about rivalries anymore. It's about your resume because you want, if you do not win that conference tournament in Las Vegas or wherever the Pac-12 tournament will be, then you have to make sure that Joe Lunardi and all these other guys have you in that tournament. And the way you do that is you have to build your resume in October, November, and December.
I used to schedule. So
you know this better than anybody.
I know because the one thing we got into is obviously we started trying to estimate where someone was going to be in an RPI back in the day standpoint. And so our schedule, I would get everything I could. I'd get Ken Palm stuff when it was available, and we would try to piece together, maybe some outliers, some teams that really had a lot coming back. One year we played a Princeton team, and that Princeton team they won the Ivy. They were tough, but we did it because we wanted a number in the 50s as opposed to the 200s.
Yes.
And so our kind of our bet on that worked out. But sometimes, like last year, it didn't benefit. It was an awesome move by Utah State to bring Memphis in, but Calhoun even said, we were hoping for this to be a quad, one game, quad 2 game, whatever it was. And Memphis didn't have that type of season. So that happens sometimes too. With your best intentions, hey, we want to play a great team in this spot, and the season takes its toll, and you get to that spot, and that team you're playing isn't what you thought they were. So there's a lot of guesswork involved too. But it's a dirty business, the scheduling part. You'll have guys commit, hey, we'll do it, and they'll keep you on the line for 10 days, and contracts sitting there, and you call and say, hey, you know what, we decided to play somebody else.
Yeah.
So then you're back at square one. And it's really frustrating, but the scheduling piece is very, very important. And to your point, that tournament is for the big dogs. And so, yeah, analytics are in this game. They're going to use those to try to, how do we keep all this money with us instead of them? Coach Rose told me long ago, that NCAA tournament's not for the little guy. That's a big harvest for the big leagues.
Yes, and they want those credits. They want because if you're Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, some of these big blue bloods, not only do you make money on a long NCAA tournament run, you make money when your conference teams make long tournament runs because you just keep adding up those credits that just keep piling up. And so that's more money for everybody. And the way you do that is you get as many teams in the tournament as you possibly can.
That's why the SEC's got 14 a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. But that's what you have to know. It's almost like we were talking about in the previous segment. You're going to get fouled.
Yeah.
You got to finish. In this instance, as a smaller school, you have to take what's offered. I mean, you have to, in Utah State, I commend them because you were exactly right. Quad 1 games, two things. They're never going to return those games. Nobody's ever coming there, right, as a Quad 1 because Logan's too hard. I mean, it's just over the years, it's just proven to be a tough place to win. And even if you do win, you're coming out of there with your life, The second thing is because of that, they've put themselves the last couple of years in the conversation of a team, and these teams exist. We would keep a list of teams, do not schedule.
Yeah.
And one of those teams one year was UT Arlington, and the NIT went ahead and scheduled them for us. And then to follow it up the next year, we played an MTE, talking about getting screwed. And I was working with this pipsqueak guy, a small agency, and he had this deal, and he was like, I want you to be a part of it. We'll get you a team. We'll get you a good team. So it was on the heels of getting beat the year before by Arlington, and we're going to send you Arlington. Oh. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate the fact that you're on our side. I got a million scheduling stories, and very few of them ended very well. You're very you breathe a sigh of relief when you get to the point where your schedule's done.
Yes,
and you feel good about it. Well, pretty good about it.
Which is interesting because basketball, the coaches usually do that. Football, it's the athletic director.
Right. And it's way down the road.
Yeah.
Basketball is year to year.
Yeah.
You're working on next year's schedule. Like, I don't know who was doing it for BYU, Utah State, but those guys are doing scouting, development, and then in their wee hours of the morning, sending emails to the idiots that won't get back to you about scheduling.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to do.
Like, hey, man, we talked, right?
We're going to do this?
Yeah. I had a girl in my sophomore year in high school, Heidi Barker. Heidi was a very, very she was a good friend, and I asked her to prom my sophomore year. And I'm like, all right. And she said yes. I'm like, bam, I'm going to prom. I'm a sophomore, and I'm going to prom. A few days later, her friend comes up to me and said, hey, Heidi really wanted to go with this guy, and he asked her. So, she's not going to go with you. I'm like, oh, so Heidi wasn't going to tell me. So they said, no, I thought I'd do it for her. So, yeah.
She's around the corner, like looking at you, your heart just break.
ripped.
That doesn't
apart.
feel good.
No. And it's like, you got a scheduling guy. Like, oh, yeah, we'll come to the Marriott Center. Sure, we'll play. And then yeah,
Did
by the way.
say that?
I don't think so. But yeah, we're not going to do that. Did you get my name in writing on that? No, you didn't? Oh, we didn't sign a contract? Yeah, okay, we're not coming.
Yeah, that was I'm telling you, when you said, everybody's like, all right, we're going to do it. Let's go. Awesome. Send the contract. Sweet. Yeah, okay. Send the contract. And if it was not signed in a couple of days, if they held it.
Yeah, you knew.
You knew you were in for something.
When you came in and checked that old fax machine.
It was the fax back in the day. Hey, did I get a fax from Wichita State by chance?
No. In fact, they say we're blocked from calling them for some reason. All right, 10:50, what you may have missed next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb.
Now I know y'all are tripping.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
10:56, what you may have missed, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I want somebody to give me a little drama in the National Hockey League with the Colorado Avalanche because I keep propping up Carolina because they may be the only team that can slow that team down. Last night, Colorado, who scored, 9 goals in game 1, they put up a 5 spot last night, beating the Wild 5-2. So that series, I mean, let's be honest, that thing's done.
That's done. It's done. And I'm with you. I think the only hope is Carolina because this team is they did it the other night. They can flex. They can really do different things. They scored 9 goals the other night. So they've got 13 for the series in 2 games. I would say things are pretty well for the Avalanche right now.
Yeah, things are cooking pretty good for them. So tonight in the NHL, Canadians and Sabres, and then the Ducks and the Knights. After the Knights went up 1-0 off of that little lapse by Anaheim in game number 1. By the way, after the Mammoth lost to the Knights, you see who's the pizza guy?
Oh yeah.
Portnoy.
Yes, Portnoy.
Yeah, he threw $100,000. Tweeted out as a ticket stub, $100,000 on the Knights to win the whole thing.
Wow.
And it would pay out I want to say $750,000.
That's like his lint. That's like lint in that dude's pocket.
Man, what would that be like? Just be like, yeah, I'll put $100,000 on that one.
Well, from my experience, Scotty, it's no, I'm just kidding. I had no idea what that's like, but I can't imagine putting that much money. I guess it's all relative.
I mean, I won't play a blackjack table in Vegas unless it's a $5 table. Like when it gets 20, 15,
no way.
10, 20, nope.
I made the mistake once of doing that, and I don't think I've ever lost $100 so fast.
Yeah, and you always have that guy like, hey, scared money, don't make money.
Like the lady came by, would you like it? Yeah, I'd love a Diet Coke, thanks.
And it's gone before she gets back?
And I was like, just leave it there for the next sucker. You know?
Oh, man. Hey, by the way, Lloyd and I always reference, you ever watch that movie, William H. Macy? It was The Cooler.
Oh, yeah.
I ran into and still to this day, I've never seen anything like it. From a table that was as hot could be. And the pit boss comes in. It's almost like he's like, bring in Rivera, like bring in the lefty. And
this dude walks in.
And no, she looked just like Phyllis from The Office. And just this older lady, and she had no emotion on her face whatsoever. She plops down on that chair, and that table went ice cold. I tell you, that's a skill. Like, I don't know what kind of voodoo she had, but she absolutely just iced that table. And, I mean, she was taking 6, 7 cards to get to 21, but she was going to get there and bust you out. And that table was just done in a matter of 10 minutes. And everybody's just like, remember that big stack we all had? And it's gone. It's just gone. And it's like, whoa, I've never seen anything like it before. And after that, I've sworn off blackjack.
Well, I've got a buddy who swears by if that is the situation and someone else comes in, you don't test it.
Yeah, you just get out.
You get out.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do because you feel like, I got fat stacks.
Well, and then you're like, okay, well, she's won 2 in a row. The odds are she's not going to reel off 3 in a row or 4 in a row. And yeah, she does.
Hey, one thing I would encourage everybody to do is
don't play blackjack.
Don't gamble.
Yeah.
But if you happen to, make sure you listen to the last segment of our show because the last 3 or 4 nights we've basically given you you too. Yeah. I mean, the way you said the Knicks were going to roll. I mean, we are about. I don't even want to talk about it, but that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Listen at the end.
Entertainment purposes only. But you may want to listen to the last segment of the show.
In my former life, I used to do a voice that would call in to a certain radio show.
Yeah.
That Dave Fox used to host.
Oh, yeah?
And I'd be the Friday tip guy.
A little Hatch in Hollywood?
Yeah. And my nickname on that was Vinny DeBrizio. No, it really was. So I'd get on with an East Coast accent. And I'd pick the games for the weekend. I've done a lot of things to get to this chair.
Yes.
Good, bad, not ugly. But
how was your record as Vinny?
Vinny was pretty good, until he got serious about it. Anytime you get too serious about it, you lose it.
Yeah.
You got to just roll with it. So the character tried to take over, and that's never any fun.
So Lloyd will remember this. This is. I've been part of a lot of fun things in radio. This is one of the things I'm most proud of. Is we had a guy. Now this wasn't where we are currently at because our good friends here at KSL would not sign off on something. But we did have at our other place when we were at the Jazz a guy that was running one of those 1-800 numbers and I'll give you the block of the week and stuff like that. And so this guy bought an advertising package and he wanted to be like, hey, let's go toe to toe with your hosts. And so he came on my show, and so he and I went toe to toe, and
did you rail him?
I whooped his ass, and
so don't go with Guido, go with Scotty.
And it went 2 weeks, and he pulled all the money and goes, "I'm out." And the sales guy's like, "Hey, can you not do this? You're costing us money." I'm like, "Nah, it's pride. Sorry, I'm not holding back." He's like, "Can you throw this a little bit? Because he's not happy. You're making him look bad." I'm like,
hey,
sorry.
He's the supposed expert.
He's the expert.
Tell him to up his game.
He's the expert. I mean, and by the way, it was just pure luck on my part. I just got on a heater. It wasn't any skill. But
what he should have done if he was wise, like the magician in him, would be just like, this week we're going to have Scotty go first.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I agree.
You know what? I had the same thing.
I agree with you.
I mean, that's the way I would have played it to keep the bit going, but...
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, 11:02. Second hour of the program next, right here on the Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life's sleep.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.